What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna do a Rescue Rabbit deck profile today. I was looking on YouTube the other day and I could not find a Rescue Rabbit build on YouTube. I did find someone playing with a Rescue Rabbit deck who had Rescue Rabbits and I believe a Torquide, but was proxying Pot of Duality. I was severely confused. So I'm gonna show you a full, complete Rescue Rabbit deck that has both the expensive cards and the non-expensive cards like Pot of Duality without being proxied. So here's the basics. You need 3 Rescue Rabbit. It's called a Rescue Rabbit deck for a reason. You play 3 of them. You could play one of them, but you're not running a Rescue Rabbit deck. You're running, hey, look what I pulled in the pack deck. You need the 3 of each dinosaur. For the Rescue Rabbit combos, that's pretty self-explanatory, which works out because at least one of them has 1900 attack, and the other ones get raped by Tengu. But that's not your problem, that's their problem. It might be your problem. You run 3 Torquides with Sangan. Most of the time what you want to do instead of overlaying when you can, don't rush it, just summon Torquide, summon the Sangan, and wait. If they cannot get over that, they can't get over that. If they do, you're going to search for Sangan, you're going to get Rabbit, and you're going to start your good stuff. So, just a little play style. These are my 2 techs for the deck. Once Logia locks them down, you can pretty much mole rape until you win. Fossil Dyna locks them down by itself, and with Logia, you pretty much have game, as this destroys all meta decks already. So, I main one of each. I actually was thinking about maining 2 Fossil Dyna, and I might still do it, because it's just so ridiculous. And I play this build more like an anti-meta build. So, just something to think about. It's up to your playstyle. The spells, I run 3 D-Fissure. Maxi destroys any Torquide play combo you have, and Rabbit. They're going to Pot of Greed if you do a Rabbit play. So, you play D-Fissure, and you hopefully get around those cards if you draw into it. 3 MST. Bottomless destroys this deck if you bring out the 2 and they bottomless it. I would rather play this than trying to tech into Starlight Road and hopefully hitting the bottomless plays or waiting for Heavy Storm. This is not a complete stun deck. You don't need to main Starlight Road. 3rd MST is just as good, if not completely better, because it's not Starlight Road. So anyway, you have 2 gold Sarks. Some people play 1, some people play 0, some people play 3. I think 2 is a good number. That's just personal preference, though. Obviously goes into the Leviair combos with Torquide, with Rabbit, yada yada. Shouldn't have to explain it. The staples of the deck are as seen here. You have Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Mind Control, Monster Reborn, Avarice. Some people question why you're running Avarice if you have D-Fissure. Well, if they're detached from an Exceed, they go to the grave because they're not a monster. Yu-Gi-Oh! 101. You learned something today. So, plus, if you have this in your hand with D-Fissure, you don't have to play D-Fissure if you don't have a play. It's kind of simple. To some, it may not be that simple. But those are staples. 2 techs that I play 1 Smashing and 1 Duality. Duality is a card that I definitely would not run 3 of in this deck. You do not need to try to add that much consistency. It has a lot of consistency on its own, other than drawing into vanillas, which happens, you know, that's called Yu-Gi-Oh! 2's fine. I like 1. Smashing is for that Rogue Spirit Reaper. This deck has a ridiculously hard time getting over. The only other out to Spirit Reaper is Dark Hole and Grand Mole, and you don't want to Dark Hole your own Logia just to get over Spirit Reaper. Yu-Gi-Oh! 101. So I like the 1 Smashing Ground in there. Onto the traps. Like I said, I'm playing this more of like a stun control variant, so 3 D-Prison goes in pretty much all my stun builds. Over Bottomless, because Bottomless, like I said, if you draw, like I said in a different video, if you draw into it after they have the big monster, it's dead. If they summon a monster that has priority, it's dead. So you pretty much want to run D-Prison. In my opinion, run D-Prisons, especially since Utopia can get over your Logia and Dolka pretty easily. Solemn Trio, just run it. There's no explaining it. Dust Shoot, just run it. There's no reason. And Mirror Force, I run that over Torrential because you don't want to get rid of your Logia just to stop their summon, or you don't want to get rid of your Dolka just to stop their summon. I don't know what situations you just want to do that. But Mirror Force has always been superior in every situation I've come across. So that's my opinion. I'd rather run Mirror Force over Torrential any day in this deck. Transmigration Prophecy. This was a tech choice, and maybe still be considered a tech choice. I ridiculously suggest maining it. I think it should be a staple in this deck. If you do not have Pot of Avarice, this is your other way of recycling those ridiculous vanillas that you seem to draw into. If you draw into too many or use the combo with Rabbit twice and somehow they get around it, your Tour Guide and Leviair is not going to do anything if all your detached dinosaurs are in the graveyard still. Not only that, this card completely, utterly destroys plants if you chain it to their anything, glow up bulbs for or anything, Monster Reborn. So, or Avarice if they have 5 monsters and you can just return one and return like a Monster Reborn to your deck or some crazy crap like that. It's just too good. So, I suggest maining it in this deck. It's ridiculously good. On to the Synchros, or Exceeds, or Extra deck, whatever you want to call it. Leviathan and 2 Leviair. Ends and mains. All the level 3s you need if you're going to run Tour Guide. If you're not running Tour Guide, I don't know how you're going into these cards. Unfortunately, Konami made it to where only Tour Guide can go into level 3s good. And I take that back if someone's offended because they run Birdman OTK Leviair deck. I'm sorry. Just run them. These are all ridiculously good cards. My level 4 Exceed, or rank 4, excuse me, for all those nerds out there who just got offended, is Utopia. That's obviously the generic. And you have the 2 Lagias and the 2 Dolkas. Here's the thing, guys. If you're going to run Rescue Rabbit and you spent the money on rabbits and tour guides, just to get the Lagia's ultimate, do us all a favor, get them ultimate. We don't like looking at ultras. You have secret tour guides, get them an ultimate. It's not that hard. And then this doesn't come in ultimate, so you can get it in secret. That's fine. I just like ultimates. But if you have tour guides and you have these in common, well, it doesn't come in common. And if you do have it in common, I'm calling a judge because you're cheating. But if you have it in ultra, I'm going to steal your cards because you don't deserve to have them. I won't do that. I'm just kidding. Staple Synchros and Trish at the end. Run these. This deck doesn't synchro often. The only time you're going to synchro with this deck is Monster Reborning something of theirs or Mind Control. So it's just good to have one of every level. I play 2 level 8s because I like Stardust. I have Starlight Road in the side deck for certain matches. So Stardust has made it into the main. I used to have Roach in here instead of Stardust, but I really do not like Roach anymore. Even when it first came out, I thought it was overrated, and even now that Exceeds are even more ridiculous, I strongly believe what I thought originally. So that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed.